You were mentioning that you keep making the same mistake because there's a certain romance there, an idealistic feeling that doesn't want you to give in to the fact, reality. What I found is that I know some people, some philosophers who are very rational. You can simplify and break down life to a point where the world becomes a very dark and meaningless place. I have always felt like that's a very slippery slope to really start rationalizing everything. And because there's only one reasonable conclusion, and that's, what's the meaning of life? Well, life is, as it seems, quite meaningless. And then I feel, if you just look at the facts, I'm not talking about the space in our minds or about raising children or being kind to one another. I'm looking at what is the meaning of our life in the greater picture of the cosmos, for example, right? We're just germs. We're like little fish in the ocean, living our life cycle until we perish and then new germs appear. I feel like there's two ways that one can deal with the meaninglessness of life. It can either depress you because you feel like nothing that I'm doing has any use or has any real point, or it can liberate you. It can liberate you because if nothing what we do truly matters, you might as well make this ride the craziest ride that you could possibly make it. You might as well try some crazy shit, because even if you fail, you crash and you burn and your whole family hates you for it and everyone points at you and says, you loser. Well, we're all going to the same place in the end. 80 years from now, we're all going to be dust. No one's going to remember us. And so it doesn't matter. And that's what I always try to tell people. I try to encourage them, it doesn't really matter. So instead of being if it doesn't matter, why should I get out of bed in the morning? Are you kidding me? It should be the other way around. If it doesn't matter, why don't you get out of bed in the morning and I don't know, go against the grain. See what happens. See how far you can push this video game that we call life. See how far you can go. I mean, I think that's something that, one thing I will forever give America and the United States of America credit for. I feel like they figured that out way before the rest of the world. Americans have figured out at a certain point, we can do the most crazy, absurd shit, and the next day the sun is still gonna come up. People are gonna be outraged, but then the world is gonna keep spinning. And they have built an entire nation on that. They went to the moon, they did all these things. Whereas I feel like in Europe, we still have this conservative mindset where it's kind of ooh, careful now, you don't want to wake up the gods and make them angry. What do you mean? It doesn't really matter what you do.
Yeah, that's just think about this. The people who went to America were Europeans. Those were the ones, the adventurers. Yeah,
exactly.
Who took their life in their own hands and said, I'm out of here. I'm going to take my money and run and make it on the other side. And we stem from the people who stayed.
Who stayed. Those are the motherfuckers that thought it was a good idea to get on a wooden vessel and basically embark on this transcontinental journey across the ocean, God knows where, because they just felt what's the alternative? Staying here with what we know? Fuck that. Let's go. That's a very interesting theory. However, I do want to ask if that theory is correct and if that part of their mentality has been passed on through the genetical structure, the DNA of these people.
And culture.
Then we also have to talk about the fact that Australia was inhabited by prisoners from the UK. So basically their whole foundation is a criminal society. That's why they call them pommies, because the prisoners of the UK would be sent to this far island, which was later called Australia, and they would all wear overalls with POM on the back, meaning prisoner of Her Majesty. So that's why they're called panis. So if that one theory is correct about the States, we also have to look into Australian people descending directly from criminals.
Well, it's probably most likely to go through culture. So I believe that in Australia they have long relinquished that culture, whereas in Europe we still have that culture of stay modest, don't try too hard, because new people get born. And you see there's people who really are daredevils in Europe as well, who haven't been caught by this cultural germ. Other than that, I can't tell a lot about Australia because I don't know, and probably everything I will say will be very politically incorrect. And
let's say one thing though, just because you are considered a criminal in society's eyes, what does that really mean? What is the definition of the criminal?
Yeah.
Someone that breaks the rules. Is that necessarily a bad thing?
And do they really break the rules, or are they said to be breaking the rules because they don't fit in the system?
Exactly.
So that's another view on it. And okay, the rules, I mean, if you're being born in whatever country, you're being born in a society with rooms full of books, full of legislation. I mean, you didn't vote for that.
No.
It's just there. So it's possible that you don't really get along with the rules that have been made by your ancestors.
Do you need help making better decisions in your life? Are you lacking self-confidence and motivation to get things done? Hire me today and get a direct daily line of communication with me through video chat and audio messages. I operate on a week-to-week basis, so no long-term investment is required. 7 straight days of Viking advice will get you right on track. Email me at lorenz.dries@gmail.com and change your reality. I'm ready whenever you are. See you soon.